Hi, friends. This is Sanjay Parihar. I'm in Houston, Texas. I'm a technologist, and as we mentioned, our mission is to get the message out in this hard time when everybody's talking about COVID-19 and many other things. We want to get the message, a positive message out. And with respect to that, we have invited very notable faces from hospital industry. So here we are with Mr. Nikhil from Atmantan. Mr. Nikhil, thank you for joining the show.
Sanjay, it's a pleasure to be with you on the show. Thanks for having me over.
Great. Thank you very much. And Millie, thank you for joining the show as well.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. Pleasure to be here.
Great. And in this discussion, Mr. Anand, Dr. Anand will also be accompanying me. Dr. Anand, great to have you here.
Hello. My pleasure. Yeah.
Great. So again, as we mentioned, that we are focused, Triluxo is focused on hygiene and especially getting the positivity out to the world. Now, if I see you, Mr. Nikhil Kapur, passion, logic, and hard work is the foundation of Atmantan, a wellness resort. I have certainly heard, and I'll take the liberty to say this, that Sharmili and Nikhil both complement each other to make Atmantan an established wellness resort. Now, this is a not so easy journey, right? I mean, it requires a lot of passion. It's perseverance, coming back again. Tell us about your journey.
Right, Sanjay. Thanks. Atmantan is essentially a labor of love for us. Wow. And Sharmili and I know each other for a while now, and after we both completed business school. Mm-hmm. While we both worked, we were very certain that at some point of time, whenever the opportunity is right, we will set up our own enterprise. Mm-hmm. And both of us were very passionate about, health and well-being. Mm-hmm. And in fact, she was the one who was always nursing this idea of creating, a property which offers unparalleled wellness programs, with warm Indian hospitality. Mm-hmm. So she did have this idea. There was this time when we were ideating upon, what is it that we want to do? Mm-hmm. I was always very passionate about fitness. My father's been, in the Indian Army, and he's played badminton for Punjab juniors, as well as he's represented India in squash. Mm-hmm. So, there was a meeting of minds in that sense. And when we said that, hey, we want to create, we want to become entrepreneurs, we said that, this is something which is, the need of the hour. And that is how we got started, working towards this. So the project took us around, besides the 1 year of conceptualizing it and, drawing it out with the architects, around 5.5, 6 years in constructing it. Wow. So it was a long journey, like a sine curve. There were a lot of ups, a few downs as well. Absolutely. But, the idea was that we get ahead and we had a goal that we want to execute this project and get it running. And so the whole idea was one step at a time, move ahead. And, in April 2016 is when we launched.
Wow. And in addition to, the next question is, what is Atmantan? How the best Atmantan can be derived to its clientele as such?
Right. Atmantan, in very simple words, Sanjay, mm-hmm. is your wellness partner that will help you achieve your mm-hmm. optimum state of health. Mm-hmm. Our goal is very simple. We mm-hmm. want everybody to live life to the fullest. So mm-hmm. that is what the organization does. Mm-hmm. And you can get the best Atmantan by coming with an open mind, letting my team of passionate and skilled professionals work with you, try and understand your health profile, try and understand what is it mm-hmm. that you want to get mm-hmm. out of your time that you spend with us. Mm-hmm. And we will help you, reach your goal is the whole philosophy. In fact, I was speaking to somebody a few days back and they said, hey, mm-hmm. with the COVID crisis, Atmantan is going to change. What are you going to do? I said, my business fundamentally remains the same. Right. For us, right. It was always about the health of the guest, and that is still the mm-hmm. top priority for us. Mm-hmm. If anything, we make you stronger in times of crisis like this. Yes.
Right. And getting to this detail, as we know that the COVID-19 is going on, and so how, little bit more detail on that, how Atmantan will be helping customer as such, how it will be, what is the new things looks like? Maybe it's not new, but right. What is the additional thing looks like after COVID-19? as such.
Right. So, Sanjay, the good news is we're getting ready to open on 15th of July. And the team is preparing, right now to be ready. And very, very briefly, we are doing preparation in two areas. One is people and one is processes. And people means sensitizing and training the team so that they can play their part in keeping the destination safe. Also, the guests play a role over here. So that is the people side. And then, of course, the process side is upgrading and enhancing all our operating guidelines so that the destination is safe. So in terms of my team is going to be spending hours in sanitizing and disinfecting various areas, so that is the processes side of it. So that is one. Number two, like I said, fundamentally, Atmantan has always been about helping the individuals achieve their wellness goal. For some, the wellness goal is de-stress. For some, it is relaxation. We get many people who want to deal with their underlying health conditions like diabetes, hypertension, autoimmune disorders, cardiac health, inflammatory conditions. And you see, the thing is, today it is COVID. In a few years, there might be something else, a different form of infection. But we can do our bit by making our body strong, both physically as well as mentally, because you have infections of the mind as well, negativity, anxiety, and stress. So the idea is that when you mindfully spend your time in an institution like Atmantan, you get stronger, and that is what helps you prepare for the new normal. So we have many programs, at Atmantan, but the beauty is that each of these programs gets customized to your individual health profile. So what you would want would be different from, your friend or your spouse whom you're coming with. And, so it's a highly specialized program for each individual.
Wow. And that's what it sounds like. It needs at this moment, right?
Absolutely.
Especially when you say de-stress, right? I mean, that's something the whole world is, and that's exactly getting to the positivity and the program like this, de-stressing that will definitely help. Now, the travelers have, in this COVID-19, travelers are getting different, perspective as such when it comes to hospitality and travel. What would be your message to those travelers as such?
We've been, when we temporarily shut down in the last week of March, since then we've been in touch with all our guests. We had as part of a project, we got in touch with all our guests. The good thing is that all our guests want to travel. However, all of them also have paranoia around, should they sit in a cab? Should they sit in the flight? And, how will things be? Now, what I want to share with the guest is that as far as Atmantan is concerned, we are preparing ourselves for this paranoia. So some of the things which we are doing at Atmantan is absolutely cutting edge. Like, we are using very highly advanced UVC machines to disinfect areas.
Wow.
They will be daily scanning for not only temperature, but other vitals as well, not only for the team, but all the guests. My message for your clients and your guests is that, number one, think about where you're going to travel next. Travel to a destination that understands, that you're worried about your health and you want to do something about your health. That's number one. Number two, travel to a destination which is taking fabulous preparations and precautionary measures to make sure that the risk of transmission of infections like this is absolutely minimum. So the traveler should go to destinations which are offering meaningful experiences. So, and we see that, people are more mindful about where they spend their holidays. And my message is essentially that travel to destinations which are going to complement your health, which are offering a meaningful experience.
Right. And in addition to that, what you mentioned, that a lot of process change, training, and even technology would play a big role on even in your hotel, in your wellness resort, and that would be the key to selection, right?
Right.
Great. And so now, I mean, it's interesting, and we would definitely like to understand more on the location. And sounds like it's a great location of resort in Silbury Hills. It would be great to know more about the location as such.
The location is extraordinary, Sanjay. And I say this not only because of the visual beauty. We have 42 acres of lush greenery, magnificent views, but the land has got crystal underneath it. And Atmantan gets fabulous healing frequencies from this crystal. And all our guests also benefit because this fabulous healing frequencies complement your health retreat. Now we are located, on a hill with the most beautiful views. People call us the New Zealand of India. Some call us, the Lucerne of, India. So it's a breathtaking location. But the thing is, guests also say this is a place of power, and that is because there is crystal on the land that where we've been built. And this is something which we only discovered after we had kind of purchased the land. When we started work is when we realized that there was crystal. And my wife's a pranic healer, and that is when we understood the significance of the crystal. So it's a place of power. Besides the beautiful views, there is something additional which you get when you are here. Our guests sometimes just say that they sleep better. And there's so many guests who feel the vibrations when they are meditating. And when I reflect upon the fact when we were going to see this land, there was something which happened when both me and my wife were there. There was a sense of calm which came over us when we stood where we stood. So it's a special location. If there was anything to be made over here, it was a wellness center. And I don't know whether you have time, but I just want to share a quick story. So, when we started the project in 2016,
please go ahead.
So when we started the project in 2016, my father, came with an holy man, whom he believes in. He said that, my son is starting this project. Why don't you bless it? And, so the Guruji came, and for around 45 minutes, he traveled through the property, and he told my father that, look, I don't need to do anything over here. So thousands of years back, there are some people who have worshipped over here. The aura of this land is very, very strong and pure. So don't worry about anything. There is no negative energy coming inside. So, that is what, further, strengthens both my and my wife's belief that, what we are doing is, it's a great venture. It's a noble venture. And, that's what we try and do. So whatever we try and do is, very genuine, in terms of everything that we do, which is for our guests, in terms of the products which we are using, in terms of the advice which we bring for them. Yeah.
Wow. And thanks for sharing this little story, because that tells a lot. I mean, so there are places which is naturally very strong, right? And choosing that place as a base for wellness resort, like you said, there could not be anything better than that. Right? Anything, if you make anything else, it might not serve purpose. So great. In addition to that, tell us more about therapies which been served there as such to the customers.
Right. Sanjay, our belief is that the body has got a natural ability to heal itself. Right? Now, we believe in alternative medicine and preventive health. Now, we also say that every body and every mind is different. So one formula or one science doesn't suit everybody. And that is why Atmantan's approach to wellness is very multidimensional. We have expertise. We have a team of close to 12 doctors. We have doctors who have studied Indian naturopathy. We have Ayurvedic doctors. We have physiotherapists. We also have a doctor who's an expert in functional medicine. So, depending upon who's coming and what is it that they are what is it that they are facing or what they want to achieve, is how we integrate. We have an integrated approach, and that is how we help people get best results naturally. So in this entire formula, nutritional therapy plays a very important role. Certain therapies, or you can call them wellness treatments or spa treatments, also play a very important role, but they are supporting, they play a role of supporting activities, So we have a range of close to 80 to 100 activities. We have Indian treatments, we have Western treatments, we have a whole lot of Chinese acupuncture, Chinese medicine. Then we have certain specialized medicine, treatments like colon hydrotherapy, Chinesang, which is a deep abdominal treatment. So we have, depending upon what is required, is how then the doctors will prescribe you that particular therapy.
Wow.
But tremendous variety. Yeah.
Wow. Mr. Nikhil, you definitely know a lot of those therapies for sure. You have taken some name which I have no clue, but yeah, and certainly it's very helpful. It's very helpful when it comes to the naturopathy and ancient stuff. That's another thing which million we were talking just before this call, right? And
Right.
Anand, this is definitely interesting, right?
Absolutely. I mean, this seems like it's a combination of preventive and a cure, hybrid kind of model which you follow. There are certain, of course, cure probably you are also focusing, and at the same time probably the wellness side of it, which talks about the prevention,
Right.
prevention of a lot of diseases. So that's really a amazing combination which you people are
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And so my question is, like, of course,
Right.
when people visit your hotel, I'm sure apart from these therapies and other thing, what are the other hotel facilities, like in case of rooms, or if you have some kind of packages inbuilt? So tell us something about that.
Right. So, Dr. Anand, the hotel or the wellness center, like how we call it, specializes for people who are looking for wellness programs. So we have, around 97 rooms, very spacious, lovely rooms with fabulous views spread over these 42 acres of land. You have a cluster of 8 rooms in a block. So it's beautifully laid out and designed by our architects, when we conceptualize the plan. In addition to that, we have the backbone of the project is a wellness pavilion, which is also one of the largest in Asia. It's around 60,000 square foot in size. That is where, you normally consult with your doctors. That is where the gym is. You have a salon over there. You have an indoor heated pool where, we do a lot of exercises, including rehab. You have a yoga hall, a Pilates hall, and then you have your therapy suites as well over there. So this is the backbone of the project, and this is, what Atmantan is known for. We also have a dining pavilion, which is where people go for their meals. We have a Kriya pavilion, which is where people go in the morning for yogic kriyas. Yogic kriyas is a fabulous way of cleansing, your respiratory as well as digestive system with simple things. And that is a pavilion which is normally busy in the morning between 6:30 to 7:38. Besides that, 42 acres means you have plenty of area to just relax and sometimes just pause, and you can walk around. We do a lot of activities. Sometimes we get a lot of athletes, so they love running on the hill, up and down. They do their drills. We have hiking facilities available as well, because, the hill, we are on a hill, and then of course there is a climb as well. I in fact I take the guests whenever I'm there for a hike as well, because I just love going up, to the top of the mountain. So there's a range of activities. We have dance for our clients. We have a team of professional choreographers. So they will, the whole idea about fitness is something which is very important at Atmantan. And the whole idea is to move, and it need not be a machine defined movement. It can be a brisk walk. It can be a dance. It can be in the pool. So we have a whole lot of activities around fitness. So we make fitness more accessible for everybody and more fun. So the intimidation of a gym goes away when you're at Atmantan, because you have so much variety. One of the things which we do at Atmantan, and which is very important, and which is the purpose of Atmantan, is also to educate the client when they go back. As they go back, not when they go back, as they go back. So people, when they come to Atmantan, one of the very clear takeaways is a change in their attitude towards their own health. They feel more empowered that, yes, I'm wiser now. I can take a lot of this knowledge back into my everyday life and take care of myself better than what I was earlier. So, we have workshops, we have talks. So there's a whole lot of knowledge exchange which also happens, when you spend, your time at Atmantan, So, yeah, it's your day can be as busy as you want it to be. So many of our clients leave their room at 6. They only come back at 9 because they want to do all activities, and they do all their therapies. They don't want to miss anything. We have a lot of business leaders as well, who come to us once every year, and they take that week, 10 days to think about what they want to do with their organization. So they take this time out to just think. So they will spend maybe 2 hours in their wellness, but the remaining 6 hours they'll be reading and thinking about what they want to do with their organization. So we have, so it's a very inspiring place, and like I said, people come with different objectives. But if you're looking for that peace, you're looking for that tranquility, you're looking for going back and finding your energy, Atmantan is that place.
Healing your inner self.
Healing your inner
Feeling in
self. Yeah,
yourself.
thanks,
Right.
Nikhil.
Right.
Yeah.
Feeling in
That's very
yourself. And go ahead. Go ahead. Anand. Go ahead.
And my second part, like second question is like, uh, so I mean, people are really engaged while staying in your resort. So what are like how many number of days you like recommend people to stay there in your resort for all wellness or any other thing if they want to explore?
You know, the average stay for guests coming to us is around 7.3 nights. Having
Okay.
said this, you know,
Mhm.
this is a question which depends upon what you're coming for.
Mhm.
We've had guests who have stayed with us for, our longest staying guest is the lady who stayed with us for 53 nights. You know, so it depends what you're coming for. Like a lot of people travel to us for hypertension reversal and diabetes reversal. So those are typically 10 to 14 night stays. People come to us for Ayurvedic Panchkarma, which is again normally 2 to 4 weeks.
Mhm.
You know, sometimes people are busy, but they still make it a point to come sometimes for a shorter program, which is maybe 3 to 7 days. You know, they will come and they want to do a detox. They want to feel lighter. Like a lot of people come to us, you know, once every 3 months. You know, so we have many guests from Middle East and Bombay, especially, who come to us 3 to 4 times a year. You know, so they at one go cannot commit to maybe 2 weeks, but what they say is that, hey, I want to go back here, and it's a reminder for me to take care of my health. You know, so you know, it really depends. But Atmantan is attracting people, like-minded people. You know, these are people who are affluent. These are people who are well-traveled. These are people who are aware that they need to be in good health to be able to do their best to their professional and personal life. So those are the kind of people who come. So nationality is absolutely immaterial. In fact, last year we got clients from over 50 countries, you know, but when you look at them together, you know, they're all like-minded people. They're there working on their health, you know. So
Right.
that's, yeah.
Right. Right. Amazing. I mean, and like I said, one thing comes in my mind is what is the best time to travel there, Mr. Nikhil?
Any time is a good time to travel, Sanjay. And I'll tell you, this is not a sales. I'm not telling you from a sales point of view, but I'll tell you, people have their preferences. You know, we have a number of clients who like to travel during the monsoons. You know, so July to September, you know, the rains in Mulshi are, you know, they transform the valley. You know, because it rains a lot. Some people who love monsoons, oh my God, that's the best time to be there. Because, you know, there is mist.
To add here, sorry, Nikhil, that Ayurveda is most effective in monsoon.
During the monsoons,
because you're sweating out all the toxins very easily.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people travel during the monsoons, like Millie said. Then we have, otherwise, if you typically ask me, the high season for us is October to March. You know, that is when the winters are setting in. The weather is absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
It's beautiful. I mean, and people who love outdoor activities, people who want to hike, people who want to run, you know, that's the time which is suited for them. April to June is slightly warmer. We still have a lot of people, you know, especially from overseas countries coming in because they love the sun. But yeah, April to June, I would say, is you know, leaner in comparison with the other months.
Wow. And now, a little bit shifting from that, you know, you have used the word cuisine philosophy, right? And you know, it is a philosophy and cuisine combined. Now, what is that? And how did you come up with this term?
So, you know, our food is fine dining spa cuisine or wellness cuisine, you can say. Now, I'll you know, I want to share with you.
Yeah.
I love food, right? So I love, I like food, right? So I mean, I would want my food to be high on nutrition as well as taste is very important for me. Now, this is a concept which we have evolved over a period of time, and our cuisine philosophy or our food philosophy or kitchen philosophy rests over 4 principles. And these principles are very simple, right? Number 1, sourcing the ingredients is the first philosophy. So we do a lot of farming ourselves. You know, close to 50-55% of our produce is organic, what we use in the kitchen. The rest of the produce is normally wholesome or locally sourced. So that is our first philosophy, sourcing of ingredients. It is wholesome and as far as possible organic. Our goal is over the next 3 to 4 years to get to 90% organic. That's number 1. So the ingredients. Number 2 is the cooking methodology. You know, so we don't do high flame, high temperature cooking. we will, we will use a different slow cooking we will do. And, we will, a lot of times, depending upon what program you are on, we might also introduce raw cuisine as well. So the type of cooking is the second thing which we focus on, right? That's number 2. Number 3 is portion control, right? Because what has happened is, if you see over the last 20-30 years, our plate sizes and spoon sizes have become bigger.
Yep.
So what we do is, we are just trying to take people back, saying that, hey, we have started eating a lot more in the cities from where we come. So let's be mindful about the portion we are eating. Now, when I say portion control, means my guests are still getting 4-course meals. By the second day, people feel full with what we are eating them. It's just the first day, sometimes some guests, just have to make that slight adjustment, because, we are used to a larger portions. But mind you, whoever comes and leaves Atmantan by the end of the program is feeling a lot more energetic. Their skin is glowing, because that is the beauty when you eat food in the right quantity. So third, portion becomes about portion control. And the fourth, of course, is, there has to be a knowledge transfer. So we have a cooking studio, which is called Soulful Spoon. In fact, we now also have a YouTube. So in fact, we now also have a YouTube cooking channel called Soulful Spoon. Whenever time permits, do have a look at our videos over there. The idea is to, again, transfer the knowledge to the guests as to how they can use this philosophy, which is when they go back home. So, a lot of our guests used to keep on asking us for recipes, and so then we said, okay, why don't we start a cooking channel, because then the transfer of knowledge is a lot easier. So that's our kitchen philosophy: sourcing of ingredients, the cooking style, portion control, and the last is educating the guest as well about this whole thing, so that it leaves a better impression and a deeper impression on them.
Wow. And I love the terms which you have, your soulful terms, and this, so, and the mix of branding plus mix of psychology plus, it's great to hear that. Great to hear that.
So that's my wife. So I'll pass that on to her.
Absolutely. I mean, being in the United States, those terms are like people love to, they remember these terms. Always, even they go back to home, right? And it was great to hearing that there's not just within the state, but there's something, when you come back home, you get with that knowledge, which you can continue in your life, and you're definitely helping out through your YouTube channel for that food perspective. Great. Now, so families are traveling there a lot, right? And what are the things which kids can do as such? Is there anything for kids as well? Yeah.
Yes. So, we have programs for all kids above the age of 14, so because that's the age limit which we have. In fact, I want to share with you that when we made this project, when we made the center, it was always for keeping in mind the age group of 35 and above. However, since the year we started, we noticed that there were a lot of youngsters, especially in the early 20s, traveling to us. We've had people in the age group of 19, 20 spend one month with us. Can you believe it? Wow. So it was an eye-opener for us. Wow. I thought, these youngsters are absolutely inspired about taking care of their own health. So we've had a number of parents who come with us with their children. The parents will do their own program, which is, designed for them. And then we have something called a Yuva retreat, the youth retreat or the Yuva retreat, which is a program which is suited for all children in the age group of 16 to 25. This is a program which focuses more on physical health and mental health. So you don't have too many therapies in that, because kids don't, at that age, you don't need those pampering therapies so much. You need something which is, making sure your metabolism remains fired up and you're stable in your mind. So we have something called the Yuva program, for the children. I just want to, a small clarification over here, Sanjay. It is only during the summer months of April, May, June, when we have children in the age group of 8 to 14 come with us as well. Because a lot of parents say that, look, we are getting healthy, but what about our children? And, around 2 years back, I met a family who said that, Mr. Kapoor, this is a brilliant program, very, very innovative. My son, till the time he didn't do farming at Atmantan, he used to think that the vegetables are grown in the mall. So, this has been an eye-opener for my son. So, such a simple thing. Our children are growing up in the cities and they don't know, maybe, some of them don't know what is the food chain and where it's coming from.
Right. And
so that's what we call the family wellness camp. And that's only during the summer months.
It's a great point. I mean, being in the Texas, I hope that my kids definitely knows where it found, but but yeah, I'll definitely ask this question from my kids as well, and maybe I get surprised. So one other thing, being part of corporate world from last 20 years, I do see a great great stuff there from the business traveler's perspective, right? And when corporate is doing a lot of group meetings, group group working sort of culture encouragement, how do you support that there?
Right. So, Sanjay, we have a lot of, like I said, the leaders of organization and senior executives who come to us for their own individual program. Mm-hmm. To be honest, we are not suitable for all kinds of corporates, right? Okay. But there are a lot of progressive corporates out there who are coming to us for their offsites, mm-hmm. because they want to marry in wellness with their offsites. Mm-hmm. So we have many companies who come to us for 2 to 4 nights. Half day they will do their conferencing and their brainstorming, mm-hmm. and these are all senior leadership teams or middle management teams. So they'll spend half to 3/4 of the day in their programs, mm-hmm. and then they'll invest in the wellness programs which the center offers. And it's a much better value for the organizations when they're able to bring this together for the teams on which they are investing. So we are not really suited for all kinds of corporate business, but yes, companies who are looking forward to have this kind of value delivered on their offsites, we welcome them.
Great. And while we are about to wrap up our conversation, and we learned quite a bit, about everything about Atmantan, and including branding and including interest, including a lot of things, which I'm sure our audience will be benefiting to the most. Tell us if we have missed out on anything else about Atmantan.
Well, I think, your questions were quite comprehensive, but the only thing which I want to leave an impression with, with your listeners is that, for us, nothing is more important than the health of our guest. Mm-hmm. And this is a destination made to help you, be in best shape, right? And one other quick thing I want to add over here is, now even when the guest checks out, we have a care program, because a lot of our guests want to be in touch with the doctors till the time they don't come back again. So we now have an online care program as well. So the guest is not only our responsibility for the 2 or 3 weeks which they spend with us every year. We are saying that we are responsible for your health even when you go back. So for the whole year, you can be in touch with us. Wow. Let us guide you so that you are progressing well on your path to good health. So that shows our commitment to the kind of work which we are doing. Yeah.
Great. And with that thought, thank you very much, Nikhil, for joining the show. Please stay on. We have some follow-up question, but we're definitely concluding this discussion. Thank you very much, Nikhil. And thank you, Millie.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks, Millie. Thanks for organizing this.
Thank you.
Thanks.